Yeah, hello and welcome to my 2 days hands-on video of the Benro BV4 fluid head you can see here. To be honest, this video will be a little bit more improvised and quick and dirty because as you can see here at the left side, the chaos, I'm moving actually to a new flat and so time is short. And I also need to make this video now and not later because I plan to return the head within the next 2 days to Amazon. It's not because I don't like the head, because it's really usable and it's really nice with longer focal lengths, also for bird watching, by the way, if you're interested in such purposes. Because of the high drag settings it offers, I'm returning it because I expected a tripod kit according to the model number. Yeah, and there was an error on the Amazon page and they only sent me the head. And the head alone is a little bit too expensive for my taste as a second head because my main head is still the Ace L, together with the tripod legs I also have here now, which are the Image C752. Highly recommended carbon fiber legs, really nice with one lock per leg and with very nice rubber pad feet, which are really nice and really good holding on even ground. It's a really nice alternative also for the speed lock tripods. So if you search for a rugged tripod for a BV4 or BV6, I really would go for the Image C752, all metal construction with carbon fiber legs. It's the best tripod I ever saw at this price point, by the way. But to get back to the BV4 and the BV6, these are directly positioned against the Sachtler Ace heads, the BV4 compared to the Ace M, and the BV6 directly compared to the Ace L. On both series, I recommend to go for the bigger heads. The Ace L, for example, has the Pro of illuminated bubble and the higher payload. And also the drag is a little bit better on the Ace L compared to the Ace M. At least it was the case in the past. Here it's more or less the same with the BV4 versus the BV6. They are basically the same, only the BV6 is coming with 2 kilograms more of payload, 6 kilograms in total, with 7 steps, and here you get 4 kilograms with 5 steps. By the way, the counterbalance is always calculated at 50 millimeters center of gravity with the Benros and 55 millimeters with the Sachtler heads, with the Sachtler Ace heads. But they are more or less the same features-wise compared, for example, 5 steps, 7 steps counterbalance with the smaller and the bigger heads, 3 steps drag horizontally and vertically, and according to the Ace L at least, the illuminated bubble. The Ace M isn't coming with an illuminated bubble, by the way. So these are direct competitors, and where are the pros and cons directly compared? The pro is here you get way stiffer drag. It's a pro and a con. The pro is, for example, and you should see now such a sample which I shot a few minutes ago. A cloudy day, not very interesting and not that nice shots. But as you can see, and it's really nice, dampened horizontally, and later you should also see vertical shots, which are also really nice because the dampening is quite stiff, and you because of the higher counterbalance steps or the higher count of counterbalance steps, it's also easier, for example, vertically to balance out everything perfectly. And as you can see, it's also sit-back free, which wasn't the case with the Ace M I had in the past. And if you shoot very often with longer focal lengths, and the shots are made with a 326 point whatever millimeters, 35 millimeter equivalent lens on my GH4, and you see it's really stable. If you search for such a head, I think it's one of the there is no other choice because normally 75 millimeter heads they are not coming with that much drag, and the BV4 and BV6 definitely a very nice choice for bird watching, or also for stills, by the way, because you can follow everything, even the fastest bird, really easily. But where are the cons? The con is because of the higher drag. The problem is, for example, at the step 1, it's nearly too weak. It's nice for whip pans or for wide angle shots if you have a controlled hand or a steady hand. But the problem is the step 2 is already nearly a little bit too stiff for my taste. And the problem is you need a very stable tripod because otherwise the torsion of the tripod is ruining your shot. And it's also not really a good idea to mount this on a slider, for example, or on a stills tripod. It's just too, the drag is just too stiff. And so I highly recommend go for a very, very rugged tripod. Manfrotto Impro 535, aka Sachtler TT tripod. These two are basically the same. Or if you really want a single tube tripod, or go for a Gear Systematic, or go for a 5-sol heavy duty, or go for these legs, because as mentioned, really nice quick lock system, carbon fiber legs, padded, really big padded feet, mid-level spreader. It's standing like a rock. The E-Image TC752. And I would go for the carbon fiber edition, not the GA, which is the aluminum 752, because yeah, it's still really, really cheap for the performance you get. So the drag is the biggest difference, and I have to say I really like the drag, but I also had once the problem that the drag steps didn't jump into place properly, and there was always a little bit of play, and I had to switch back and forth a few times until it jumped back in properly. So the overall quality is a little bit lower as always with the Benro stuff. So keep this in mind. Also here you have a little bit of wobble. If you lock down everything, and I can show you this, yeah, it's a plastic head, and the quality of the Ace head is still a little bit better. It's noticeable. Okay, so I also want to mention, by the way, the top plate, as always with Benro, replace it, because the problem is here by the way is a lock, as always, so it's not sliding out without that you want it to slide out. The coating is very rough. It's a low quality coating, and it's even that rough that you're damaging and rubbing off the top part of the head. And it's also not as easy as other plates to slide in because of the rough coating. I mean, as you can see here, you really need to press here and move it in, because otherwise it's not possible. And the point is, I highly recommend to replace it with such a 15-20 buck 501 P-Long. This is a 501 P-Long replacement plate. It's easier to find such plates if you search for 501 P-Long. Because here, as you can see, it's way easier, and you don't even need to press the button. It's also working perfectly, and yeah, it's also not damaging and dropping off the top part of the head. If someone from Benro is watching this, please change the top plate, and please also make the overall quality a little bit better. As you can see here, scratches everywhere, and also the ruggedness is not on the same level. The knobs are not on the same level as the Ace series. You recognize that it's built on a cheaper level. By the way, the top plate is also compatible to 501 PL, 501 P-Long, and 504 PL plates. These are basically all the same plates width-wise. Only the length differentiate. The 501 PL is the smaller one until here or so, and this is the 501 P-Long, aka 504 PL. If you really want to get this replacement plate, I will put a link in the description. And if the link isn't working anymore, please send me a message or post it so I make a new link. And this is really a nice option, and it's a nice upgrade to the head. So, okay, this is also a little bit of a problem. What I like about it is, for example, these knobs are now completely dampened with a very thick grease, so they are really staying in place. They are not hanging around and getting in the way. And they are also replaceable, not replaceable. The position is changeable because these are retractable. If it's not possible, you need to loosen the screw a little bit. For example, here I had to loosen up the screw a little bit, so it was possible. And I highly recommend to use it that way. I don't know if it was the original position. So it's locked here and it's unlocked here. You're ruining this point here because with a magic arm mounted, it's not possible to get here. Which is a little bit annoying because this point is more or less useless. But you need the space, because otherwise here it's fully locked and here it's only half locked and you don't get out. Or for example here, if you have here a magic arm. So on the right side, forget about this 3 to 8 inch mounting point. On this side here it's better possible because, for example, here I have a locked state, or you can even make it here. But here in this state it should be possible to mount at least a thinner magic arm, for example, the smaller ones from Manfrotto. The problem is the cheap magic arms are normally, they have a bigger screw base, and so it's quite, not the best position anyway also here, but here it's at least working. Okay, so this is a little bit of a problem on the right side, useless 3 to 8 inch mounting point. What I think is nice is that you get 2 replacement screws at the bottom, 1 1/4 inch, 1 3 to 8 inch. So even if you lose one, or if you need one additionally to mount, for example, the camera on 2 points, it's always on the head, but that's the same on the Ace heads, I have to say. Illuminated bubble, the same like with the Ace L. The Ace M isn't coming with it, but as always, as I mentioned at the beginning, go for the bigger heads, because you also have more payload capacity for the future if you upgrade your rigs, for example. And they are also not that much more expensive. Used, the Ace L is not much more expensive, and new with the BV6 is not much more expensive compared to the BV4. Okay, so do I recommend it overall? And why am I not keeping it? The point is that for me the Ace L is still the more universal head, and because I'm shooting very often just with a camcorder, just with a system camera on top, maybe with a small rig base with 2 rods, so I can mount a follow focus or a monitor or so. Because I'm not using all the time really big rig systems. For me, the Ace L is the better system is the better solution and the better choice, because it's a little bit more lightweight, just 200 or 300 grams or so. And you get more counterbalance steps somewhere in between step 1 and 2 here on this head. What I like here, and what I hate a little bit on the Ace L, is that the 3rd step is not like the 2nd or 3rd step here, because here you get a really stiff and nice performing head. Although, as always, also keep in mind, buy locally. Benro has sometimes quality issues from time to time. This is a head with 301, with a number beginning with 301, so it's one of the later ones, maybe. Benro needs time to fix some smaller issues, and so the problem is, if you buy overseas, you pay import VAT, you pay duties. And if there is a problem, you don't have local warranty. You need to send it back to China, and sometimes you don't even have warranty because it's not an official Benro dealer. So buy locally. Really nice head. If you accept with the small flaws according to the overall quality and ruggedness. Okay, now I have it. As you can see here, now the 2nd step hasn't jumped in completely. There is a little bit of play. Move it back. I hope. And now it's gone. And this is sometimes the case. So if you can live with this small issues sometimes, it's a really nice head. And it's really one of the few heads you can also use for really long focal lengths. Okay, so this was my hands-on review, what this is. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. By the way, there is also a video coming according the kit of the GC752 legs together with the EMH GH6. There's also coming a video according the Ace L, because I need to make a video about it sometime, together with the same legs. And I also have the Cartoony Smart Pro head here and the High DB head from colleagues. So I can also review that kits. So stay tuned. There are also videos planned according the VS2 Fine HD, and I also need to make a video about the iCan VH7i monitors. So there is a lot planned, at least over the summer, and so subscribe. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.